Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yes. And as you can see, we are at a different angle. Here, let me stop this so that we don't have constant reverberation for the next 10 minutes. There we go. We're at a different angle. I'm actually filling up the shelves behind here. And we're looking across the room. Oh my gosh, we're really making progress in Sibelius. This is the third Sibelius video. So let's see what we've got in this pile of Sibelius. I have a pile of it. Well, let's see, the pile is right here. There's the pile. And let's see what it contains, shall we? Sibelius, the Complete Symphonies Violin Concerto, Finlandia, Tapiola, Swan of Twinella with Boston Symphony, and Colin Davis on 2 Phillips duos. These have since been boxed up. So they're available that way as well, but you know, I have this, so I kept them because why not? They're wonderful. Then we've got Sibelius Lativenska. I don't know what that means. It's just excerpts from the complete edition, and it's just there because I don't ever get rid of anything if I like it. Sibelius Symphonies 2 and Luana Tar and Pocula's Daughter with Bernstein and the New York Phil. Well, the Symphony number 2 is kind of all over the place and fun. It's not bad. It's just very all over the place, tempo-wise and whatnot, full of romantic passion. Yeah. And the Luana is really cool. It's with Phyllis Curtin, who was a wonderful Kunst diva, American soprano. And the Pocula's Daughter is reference recording. We've been talking about reference recordings, and that's definitely one of them. Sibelius on Saga and the Lemminkainen Legends. Oh yes, this is the Swedish Radio Symphony Orchestra under Mikko Franck. Now, Mikko Franck was one of these flavor of the month conductors. I mean, he's made a decent career for himself since, but he was notable for taking things slowly, and he does. These performances are rather deliberate on the Undine label. And not many people have been talking about them since. I enjoy them, but they are slow, and be forewarned. Then we've got, let's see, Sibelius choral works. Oh, this is cool. The Origin of Fire, Sandals, the Finnish Jaeger March, Har du mod, Have You Courage. Again, it was in 4 billion arrangements. It was his revolutionary chorus thing that everybody sang. And the Song of the Athenians, they all sang that too. And the Academic March and Finlandia with male chorus. This is Järvi's Gothenburg recordings. This is before BIS started doing a formal complete edition of everything. And they had Järvi doing the stuff before they got Lati and Venska. And some of those are better. And not all of them made it into the box. Some of them were redone, not as well. Smetana, Vltava, Sibelius, Finlandia, Pelias, Edmelizon, Listley Preludes, Berlin Phil Carillon. Some classic Carillon stuff at Sibelius. It's very, very good. Really, really okay. Finland Awakes. Oh my goodness. Patriotic music by Sibelius. I have 2 of these. We just talked about this in the last video. Sorry. Sibelius Violin Concerto on Saga and the Serenade number 2 for violin and orchestra with Julian Rachlin and Lauren Mazel of the Pittsburgh Symphony. You may recall that Mazel remade his Sibelius cycle in Pittsburgh. It was incredibly slow and incredibly dull with a couple of exceptions. One of them being an absolutely stunning 3rd symphony. And this performance of the violin concerto is very good. It's just that there's so many recordings of this stuff that, you know, it's hard to think of it as still being competitive. But I hung on to it because I did. And then we've got giants of the violin. Sitkovetsky, Oistrakh, and Kogan. So we've got the Sibelius Violin Concerto with Julian Sitkovetsky, who's Dmitri Sitkovetsky's dad. The Beethoven Romance with David Oistrakh, Romance number 2. The Shostakovich Violin Concerto with Leonid Kogan. And this is with Nikolai Anisov, Karl Ancherl in the Romance, Kirill Kondrashin in the Shostakovich Violin Concerto from 53, 54, and 64 on Superfund. Look at that. They're like worth hanging on to, historical recordings. Sibelius 7, Peleus and Melisande incidental music. The Oceanides, Tapiola with Beecham. This performance of the 7th is not so great. It's kind of slack, and you know, some of the other stuff isn't bad, but you know, Beecham's wizardry is only fitfully in evidence here. I'd be interested to hear it remastered, see if it comes up better. Sibelius, Pohjola's Daughter, the Oceanides, Tapiola, and Saga the Bard, with the Iceland Symphony and Petri Sakari. These have been good, solid performances. Not top-notch. The sonics aren't top-notch. They're just good, but enjoyable. Good and enjoyable. I mean, they are. You know, you could do worse. Beecham does Sibelius, Scène historique, opus 20, bits of each bit. The March from the Karelia Suite, and the First Symphony, which is the real gem here. I've said it a million times, we desperately need a Beecham edition from Sony, remastered, like they do with Metropolis. I mean, they've got a lot of really interesting, good stuff, and we need to get that fixed. Sibelius, Violin Concerto, Tapiola, Finlandia, with Christian Ferris, Berlin Phil and Karajan, a great Sibelius disc, everybody always thought so. And then the Oceanides, Sibelius Orchestral Works with Antal Dorati and the London Symphony. And they're all in Japanese. Yes, aside from the Oceanides, what else do we get? They've got to have them in English here somewhere. I remember listening to it just to figure out what everything was, but no, there we go. Luanatar, right, that's with Gwyneth Jones, yes, on Saga and Night Ride and Sunrise, along with Oceanides. And these were just fun to have. I mean, you know, Dorati didn't do a lot of Sibelius, and so I thought this was kind of intriguing, and it still is. And it's in English, well, the English side out. Sibelius, Symphony No. 2, Karelia Suite in Finlandia. This is the Royal Phil's own label with Charles Mackerras. Naturally, it's excellent. Charles Mackerras. How could it not be? Lovely performances, very nicely recorded in 1994. He did a bunch of things for this label. There's like a Shostakovich Fifth and some other stuff too, I think. A Richard Strauss disc, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so I collected it as a matter of course. And last but not least, the complete Sibelius symphonies with the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic and Sixten Ehrling, the first complete Sibelius cycle in the history of recordings. Recorded 1952 and 1953. It's in mono. The sound is a little grotty. The performances are good. Sixten Ehrling was this crazy guy. He had a mixed reputation in Sweden because he was somewhat volatile. He liked to carry on and scream, and people didn't like to work with him, but he was a legend in some circles, not in mine particularly. And this is historically interesting. Needless to say, like the historically interesting Anthony Collins Sibelius cycle, it has been eclipsed many times over by later Sibelius cycles. But just so that you know, this was the first one, and it exists on Finlandia, which is now part of Warner, I believe. And you'll probably never see it again, as long as we live. Well, you never know. It's Warner. It could happen. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. More Sibelius to come in the Overflow room. Take care.